Yo, better in the mic, it's the Krewe FC, the round table where the real heads be. Talking NFL, the game we adore, from the touchdowns to the legends and so much more. That fucking guy, he's got the stats on lock, dropping knowledge on the field, watching every block. Back and bleeding green, cheering loud and proud. In the sea of cheese, heads he's standing out the crowd. I can't hear with the looks and the smarts, breaking down the plays, and he does it with heart. Then they're stout, solid like the line. His takes are heavy, his vision's divine. Week by week, we break the game down, from every big play to every new crown. Offense, defense, we cover it all, from the springtime draft to the winner's last call. It's not just a podcast, it's a fan's lifeline, connecting every moment from the vines to the side.
Good morning, gentlemen. Week 1 NFL kickoff. We actually have the whole cast with us today. Eye Candy Andy, Brian Robinson, and Stout down in the corner. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Yeah.
I figured a Cowboy fan would be kind of miffed today.
What if you're a Cowboy and a Michigan fan?
Ooh, that's got to be like, I wouldn't even have woke up today. I'd have called in dead. I mean,
it happens.
You had victory.
It'll probably happen early and often.
Victory in your grasps, literally. I counted a minimum of 5 times.
4 times.
You have Sanders breaking in the red zone.
Yeah.
Former Philadelphia. Couldn't help but give it up to the green. Drops the ball. Then you got sure hand CeeDee Lamb. Let's just call him Gloves. How'd he play?
Yeah, he played pretty good. About the worst stat line in the NFL that you could get, 7 for 111 yards and 4 drops when we needed it. So
I mean, you can't be that mad.
No,
I mean, Dak played well. Your keys for the game were pretty much dead on. Dak can't turn the ball over.
I know you were surprised by that. I can see.
I was more surprised that Dak had a good game than you actually looked like you knew what you were talking about. No. I mean, both were kind of up there, but I mean, how's it look for Dallas going forward?
So I have slight hope. So the sky isn't falling, but I got slight hope now. So you guys figure out how that one goes. Well, you can make your precious little videos.
Right.
Don't worry. There's one coming.
Like I said, I think how's the defense going to play without Micah Parsons? That was everybody's biggest watch, I guess. It wasn't the biggest watch for me, but Dallas did something that hasn't been done in at least a decade. Is they actually stopped the run, which that's where the hopeful thing's at. They stopped the run. They stopped the best running back in the league, held them under 100 yards. So the defense looked good, and especially with their corners being back together playing like I had posted, was been a year and a half. So offensively, I looked at how was, because the offense was a big thing. And we ran the ball really well. Having Javonte Williams seems like he got caught new life. And the biggest question mark was for me was that coming off that he had been injured and how he's going to play. And he looked like the Dak of old of scrambling wise. And then he looked like a new Dak not throwing interceptions. So that's a plus. Now, can they maintain that all year long? Is the surgery going to hold up to where he doesn't get hurt again? But the main key that I know I had posted about was our free agent pickup that the Bears let go for some reason. Jack Sanborn, he was all over that field. We still have the 2 outside linebackers who are our backups, but they were all over the field as well. So it's looking well. We just couldn't stop Jalen Hurts was our biggest And I think a lot of teams are going to have that issue when you have a mobile quarterback. But Jalen Hurts is the one that killed us and won that game for them. So
yeah,
I'm kind of
almost like
hopeful.
if you had an impact edge rusher that could have at least put a good hit on him in the morning, or a good hit on him at night. Good morning, gentlemen. Come watching the show, Christopher Cole, Colton Tyson. But you had a good edge rusher that could actually put some impact on. It might have changed the game. If you'd have had Micah Parsons, it could have changed the game. However, you wouldn't have had the defensive push you had up front to stop the run. I mean,
Yeah.
How do we feel on the Micah Parsons trade? You got Brian and yourself both here finally. Both are in the same show. I mean, Brian, what is your take on the whole Micah Parsons deal? How do you feel about it going into week one, having him to go up against the Detroit Lions?
You know, first off, I'm glad to be back. Missed you guys, except for Randy. Anyways, no. Let's be honest. I mean, I've said for years, for the last couple years, one of the biggest problems defensively the Packers had was as edge. Now I know last year the Packers led the league in takeaways. Their secondary is really, really good, but they had average at best, edge rushers. Losing Kenny Clark, I mean, it is a hit to the run defense. He was a good run clogger. The only problem is he just couldn't stay on the field. And obviously, he showed how good of a run stopper he was Thursday night. I think Stout can agree to that. But getting Micah Parsons, now you have a bona fide edge rusher. Now, obviously, the questions are with the back. He did get the epidural. He says he feels great. The Packers are not exactly going to rush him in terms of playing every down and stuff like that. Sounds like he's going to be on some sort of a pitch count today. I know everybody's been kind of questioning, is he even going to be on the field? Yes, he's going to be on the field today. I think he's going to be more on pass options and stuff like that, which when we get into the keys of the game, I'll kind of explain where I'm going with that. I mean, I like the trade. I think 2 first-round picks wasn't such a bad thing, especially if you're a team who feels as confident and you're just a player away to kind of put you over the edge to make you one of the contenders to, reach the at least conference championship game, maybe the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's going to suck losing to Tampa again.
Hey, Tampa, yeah. Okay. Hey, you know what? Though? I actually like Tampa's team. But no, I just think it wasn't too much to give, especially for the fact that the Packers seem to always draft pretty well and find players kind of that are just under the radar. I mean, the 2 first round picks could be like in the high teens and the 20s to Dallas. So I think it's more for Dallas now has some ammunition to where if they really wanted to move up in the draft, depending on their record, they could package a couple of those first rounders and move up. I think it worked out very well. We just got to see how, Micah plays. I don't doubt in my mind that he's definitely motivated and wants to be out on the field. Let's see how that holds up. But according to everything I'm reading, he's A-okay. They're just kind of slow rolling him into the defensive packages.
Right on. Stout, how do you feel about this deal?
Well, when it first happened, Brian knows how I felt about it because I sent him a message. I wasn't too
happening though. I told you it was happening. I was reading all those.
We had talked about this a couple days prior. That's what we were hearing about it, but I didn't think it was going to happen because of the way he was injured, and that was my issue. But my biggest thing is going to be wait and see now, because he's not really going to be going full effect yet in the game. Dallas got what they wanted. They needed a run stopper. That's what we got. It looked like Green Bay got a pass rusher that they needed. But my issue is with the Green Bay side is now our team's going to be able to run on them. So, and that's but that goes with us not having that main pass rusher of Jalen Hurts not getting hit, because Micah was fast enough to catch, and he's shown that he could catch him. So those will be the two down the road to see if Green Bay gets run on like Dallas used to, and the mobile quarterbacks still keep hurting Dallas the rest of the year. That could get out and start going. So those are my biggest keys now. Is it's a wait and see game now, just to see, does it work out for both teams? Because it really does. I mean, if you look back, some of these trades really work out for both teams. And I think this one might actually end up maybe working out for both of them. But again, two players got traded that have been injured the past few years, so maybe the new start helps them with that. But we get 2 draft picks out of it, and see what goes from there, and hopefully that we do what we're supposed to do and get some extra players that we need to help us out. So
right on. Sounds like you guys just had a kumbaya moment, so we're gonna stop talking to you. Andy, what's going on in Chicago? How do you feel about it? No, seriously.
Nobody cares.
So if we want to talk about how I feel about the Micah Parsons trade, like everybody else has been saying, so first off, man, you got to work on your inflection. This monotone voice, I fell asleep twice. I think I'm pretty sure I did fall asleep twice. But Micah Parsons actually could conceivably be an impact player if he remains healthy. The problem is, especially with that type of an injury, you could conceivably sneeze and now you just throw out your back again. Epidural or not. So if he's actually, within the movements of an actual game itself, let's say you got a running back that's coming towards him, whatever the case is, full bore, or he just switches something wrong, next thing you know, he's going to be out for several weeks, which means that your 2 first-round draft picks are going to, look pretty bad for that particular general manager who gave him up for a person who's now on the injured reserve or whichever the case is. So hopefully he doesn't, but with Green Bay, of course, and playing Detroit, of course, I think they're kind of like back on that cusp almost, to where they can be like a really good team, where they unfortunately can, go back to the doldrums where they were once upon a time. And so, if by chance they have a chance to come out and actually beat Green Bay, I think they're in Detroit, right? So you have the home field advantage. There's a couple of things. You could conceivably win fairly handily, and I don't know if that actually shakes up the NFC North anything, but with the Bears, of course, up on the rise, and Minnesota being kind of interesting. That's, of course, the Monday night matchup, the Minnesota Vikings versus, of course, your favorite Chicago Bears. You do have a bit of a few injuries on the Bears that could actually, one of those kind of things. For example, linebacker TJ Edwards is doubtful with a hamstring. Quarterback Jalen Johnson is questionable with a calf and a groin, which is kind of interesting because, how about you guys? I pull my groin all the time and I never injure it.
Wow. That's
quarterback Josh Blackwell. I was talking about when we were playing.
God.
We never played pull the groin. Just so you know, that's not a game.
You guys did.
Did he freeze?
You guys did. You walk in there, you have to turn around, walk out, and close your eyes out with bleach. So the Vikings, of course, have a couple of things. The Vikings have a couple of players that are actually questionable as well. Safety Harrison Smith, doubtful due to injury, and offensive tackle Christian Darrisaw. Darrisaw. The Bears, in my opinion, of course, are going to be able to pull this out for a couple of reasons. Number one, of course, it's at home. You do, in fact, have a rookie quarterback. Even though this is the second year, he's still kind of a rookie quarterback. You don't necessarily have a whole lot of film on J.J. McCarthy. However, you do have some from, University of Michigan, who have lost over the weekend. You also have some of the ones where he was practicing and things of that nature. So you have that opportunity to be able to, see him firsthand, and he's going to have some, early on success. But fortunately, with this, I guess you can say, generation of coaches for the Bears, they do actually adjust, at halftime, unlike the old regime, which did not necessarily do that. So you, of course, have a couple of keys to the Bears' victory. Protect Caleb Williams. Now, you see how if you give Caleb Williams some time, just like any professional quarterback, he's going to be able to pick you apart. And that's actually one of the good things that the Bears have been able to actually establish is a better offensive line. So you have that opportunity to have Caleb Williams be successful in the fact that he doesn't have 0.1 second to throw the ball. He can, in fact, scan the field a little bit. He's still, a little bit indecisive, and I think that's one of the reasons why you've been reading lately how Ben Johnson, of course, has kind of been, keeping a closer eye on Caleb Williams, simply because, Tyson Badgett, for example, has been doing as well as he's been doing. I don't know if he just gets it, if Badgett actually just gets it fully. Maybe that's his extra year or two as a pro, but you can certainly see that you want success for Tyson Badgett as well. Win the line of scrimmage. It's kind of interesting because Minnesota's line and the Bears line, of course, you are going to always be battling in those trenches, and I think that this year's Bears should do a little bit better for a couple of reasons. Pass protection we just talked about, and of course running the ball. So the Bears have the opportunity to run the ball. You could conceivably get anywhere between 80 to 100 yards rushing. It would be nice to see, in the 115 to 125 range. But the Bears definitely are going to be getting at least between 80 and 100 yards of rushing. Exploit defensive weaknesses. You have a couple of players, of course, that are going to be not necessarily questionable for Minnesota, but, new season, I think the Bears can take advantage of, younger players and things of that nature. Pressure. You definitely want to pressure J.J. McCarthy. So a couple of reasons. Number one, again, he is kind of a rookie, and even though he does have a year under his belt, you don't necessarily have that game-style tempo. So if by chance the Bears, with their pass rush, can actually get him to do a little happy feet, I think the Bears could conceivably create one, possibly two turnovers. They could conceivably, a bunch of 3-and-outs, which would be wonderful for their offense. If you can average between less than 3 yards per play, I think the Bears are going to be successful within that paradigm. And then if you're, what's that question?
I just want to bring up the whole J.J. McCarthy situation. So you have a quarterback that doesn't have a lot of playing experience, really wasn't asked to be the man in Michigan. He wasn't forced into the role where he's got to sling the ball all over the field. Granted, J.J. McCarthy has a live arm. He can make all the throws. He's not the kind of quarterback that's going to stand back there and throw it 75 yards on the fly, 60 yards on the fly. But he can pick you apart. If the Bears can force them to pass the ball, I think they have a great opportunity for victory here, especially offensively for the Bears. They can attack the center of that defense with Harrison Smith being out with an illness or potentially being out with the illness. He's doubtful today. But then you have a young secondary you're facing there. And if Caleb Williams can do the opposite and actually stay upright and pick that center of the defense apart, I think the Bears have a great shot today. I think you're going to see the potential for a Bears win. It should be a close game.
I'd probably say it's going to be a little bit closer, less than 3 touchdowns with the Bears victory. But you have the Bears with their offense who are actually doing some interesting things. They're trying to get the ball down the field, as well as in fact getting their tight ends, of course, involved, and of course Komet, Loveland, those kind of guys who have been able to actually stretch the field for the Bears and actually do that safety valve that will allow for actually a couple of things. So the interesting thing with tight ends, that actually helps to establish a wide receiver, a potential for a wide receiver connection on 1 to 2, possibly up to 3 plays during the game that you're going to be able to get big chunk yardage, possible touchdown. So then you're also opening up the running game in and of itself, because now the defense has to keep an eye on the fact that, hey, that safety valve is right over here. I have to keep an eye on him, allowing a nice little chunk area open for, possibly a running back or even a quarterback.
Yeah, young quarterbacks love their tight ends. They love that quick release valve. They don't want to get hit too many times. I think you're onto something there with Loveland. I think Loveland's going to have a big game.
Gross. But anyway, the Bears definitely the Bears with their offense definitely have a whole lot more tools than they did last year for sure. You have a quarterback that could potentially do some good things, and now you have an offensive line. Now, if you remember the Bears defense, just real quick before we finish up with this, so the Bears defense in and of itself has always been a bend, don't break kind of philosophy. Well, they're their aggressiveness has actually been stepped up a little bit. And, sometimes to the detriment. You might end up, blowing a play or two and allowing chunk yardage. But I think you would rather see some of that more aggressive play. Then that way you're getting your sacks. That way you're getting, potential for turnovers and things of that nature. So I think if the Bears maintain a more aggressive stance, I think they're probably going to end up having a little bit more success, especially against J.J. McCarthy, who, even though he can actually make the plays, at the end of the day, he's still basically a rookie. So if you can actually rattle his cage a little bit, I think the Bears defense might be able to get, who knows, one or two either takeaways or, whichever. So I definitely have the Bears, of course, winning. They're like in the middle of my pack. I think it would probably end up being probably a full touchdown. They'll win.
All right.
They'll win the game.
No, that's more realistic than you've been the entire time on this podcast. So I appreciate the actual realism this time. Stout, you were about to say something.
With that being said,
mute Andy.
With that being said,
he keeps saying the Bears they bend but they don't break. I mean, when did that happen? Because we saw them break against Washington last year. Let's go down. I mean, we could go down the list of them breaking. But
sure.
Are you talking?
I mean,
their defense is actually modeled on Dallas Cowboys. So
why
and
does
the
our viewership goes down every?
All right, Brian. Let's talk about the Green Bay game.
Well, first of all, Andy, so first of all, Andy was wrong where the game's at. It is in Lambeau.
Correct. Yes, sir.
So
it doesn't matter.
So
they're both going to lose 0-0.
That's awesome. Well, this is a right out of the gate great game. I mean, this is what you kind of want to see to kind of test to see where you're at as a team. I mean, we always say the first 2 or 3 weeks, it's always sloppy football play, but these division games are going to be important. And the reason why I bring that up is the Packers went 1-5 last year in the division, and they were literally a fingertip away of going 0-6. I mean, that's not going to win you much in this division, especially now with the schedule being much tougher. You're not playing the AFC South this year. You're playing way more tougher competition. But they have to get out of the gate fast. So that's one of my keys is they have to start fast today. They need to establish offensively moving the ball mistake-free. Obviously, Josh Jacobs, you saw what he did last year. He's going to be important because LaFleur does love to run the ball. But this is the question I have is how healthy is Jordan Love? He had that thumb surgery a few weeks ago. Supposedly, he's still not 100% with it. And as a matter of fact, if I read something right from Rob Domofsky from ESPN, he was handing the ball off with his throwing hand and not with his left hand, which is kind of odd. So if the thumb's a problem in taking snaps, there could be, he could be fumbling the ball right on the snap, and there needs to be zero mistakes from Jordan Love, including throwing interceptions, which was a problem for him last year. So it's basically you have to limit the mistakes. Jordan Love has to limit the mistakes. You got to win the battle in the trenches. Offensive line, I think is going to be a big key to get the holes opening up, and they have Aiden Hutchinson back. That's going to be huge for Detroit. He can be a game wrecker. Let's see how good he is, because obviously with both Micah Parsons and Hutchinson, with the injury history, it's going to be a wait and see approach to see how both of those two guys do. And then everybody's kind of questioning, okay, well, what about the run defense? How can you replace Kenny Clark? Well, basically, it's just going to be a revolving door of people because they really just have not found that person yet. I mean, there's basically 5 guys that they can plug in there right now. The one guy is Nazir Stackhouse, who was an undrafted free agent they picked up this year. He's got the body size and everything, and that he's had a very up and down camp. And I think that's why the Packers were really willing to trade Kenny Clark away, because they picked up this kid. They liked his ability, his size. When he did well, he looked good, but when he was bad, he looked absolutely horrible. So that's the whole, coming to a head there. With Parsons possibly playing limited plays, and it's probably going to be more on passing downs, it's going to really come up to the defensive line to hold that Detroit running game down. That's what they like to do. They like to get themselves in positions to where they're only doing third and shorts, to where, Dan Campbell loves to gamble on fourth down. And I looked up something. I think last year he went for it on fourth down 8 times against the Packers in the 2 games they played and converted 7 of the 8. So that kind of shows you where you need to be. You need to be more locked down in the trenches. I think both sides of the ball, you've got to win on that. And then let's see what Mr. Matthew Golden can do as a receiver. He had an incredible camp. I've always been complaining about they need an alpha as a receiver instead of just a bunch of dudes. I think he's kind of proven himself in the preseason, but now this is for real. And he's going up against one of the top corners in the league. Let's see if he can win some one-on-one battles, because if you get him going, especially with Wicks and Jalen Reed on the injury list, and to be quite honest with you, I don't know if either of them will play just because of the fact they've been very limited in practice. It's going to come down to Golden to make some big plays for this team. I still think, in my opinion, the Packers should pull this game out. I think just because of all the hype, when you get a player like Micah Parsons, all of a sudden your whole team just gets that extra edge, and they're ready. I think game 1, question marks with the Lions, with the coordinators and everything. This is going to be kind of the fill me out game. I think the Packers end up taking it in a close one. Yeah, that's what I got.
So I have a question for you. How
Yeah.
often are the Packers lined up in the shotgun formation? I mean, do they take the majority of their snaps from shotgun? The only reason I ask that is you have an injured thumb on your throwing hand. Going under center is not really an option. That's how you collect the ball with your offhand, corral it with your throwing hand under center. I mean, it's hard for a quarterback to switch his hand placement because it's that fundamental.
Right.
How often are they in the shotgun? Is that something that you see more? I don't watch the Packers much because I watch in real football, but how often do you see them in the shotgun?
84% of the time.
You just made that.
That's your
up.
answer.
I appreciate it.
No, I did not. I actually went on. I looked it up while you were asking the question. 84% of the time.
Well, that's great. I mean, honestly, that's going to alleviate that thumb issue quite a bit. From him going under center, you could lose the exchange quite easily with a broken thumb at quarterback.
So if he has an injured thumb, what about the other issue that he has? That he sucks, he's on Green Bay. What then?
Oh, God.
All right.
I can't wait till later in the year when Micah Parsons knocks the lipstick off of Caleb Williams. Better get a left tackle soon.
We're back. All right. There are some other games.
Well,
I think.
I got a question. I got a question real quick. So you said they're gonna bring Parsons in basically on passing situations. Do you think the Lions flip the script and just pass on first and second down and try to get it close because of the way Dan Campbell gambles on fourth down? I mean, does that kind of alleviate Parsons from being on the field because now they flip the script? Or do they just not even care? And Dan Campbell's like, I don't really care who you have. We're doing what we always do, and that's what's going to happen. So
it's funny you say that because I was reading some stuff, and Campbell, when he was asked about the Micah Parsons acquisition, he basically just said, "Yeah, he's a great player and stuff like that. I don't know how much he's going to be on the field, but we're gonna play him like he's on the field every down and whatnot, and we'll just go from there." So it's. Knowing Dan Campbell, he's a coach that, yeah, you're right. He loves to gamble, but it'll be interesting to see how his game plan really is. I mean, you got the dual-headed monster at running back. Obviously, if you can get that run game going and run all over the Packers, that makes Goff's day a lot easier to throw shorter passes or open up the passing game and stuff like that. That's why I just really think the trenches is going to be that important today, because if you can shut down the run game and give Goff some problems, especially if you're able to get a good rush on him, I think the Packers have a really good shot. But you're right. I think Campbell does maybe he will do some interesting things. That'll be something to watch, especially early in the game, to see if he just decides, hey, you know what, if he's not going to be out in the field, this is my time to throw passes. I'll go reverse script on him and see what happens.
If I'm Campbell, if I see Micah Parsons on the field, I'm running a lead right at him. I'm making him take as much impact as he can. I'm trying to force his hand to say, okay, either I got to play every down or they're just going to come at me. I mean, if you force him out of the game, you win. If you force him to stay in the game, you win, because he's not proven to be great against the run.
You're right, but he's also the player, though. He can make the big play. So that's the thing, is how the Packers play him in these certain situations, basically on a pitch count, but B, how the Lions are fully prepared to make sure he doesn't wreck a game. Because if he gets to Goff and sacks it, because that's the one thing about Goff. If you look historically the last 3 years with Goff and his statistics, the only time that he has a horrible game is if you just get in his face. And there was I think it was Houston. Wasn't it Houston? He threw the 5 picks because Houston just kept on rushing him. Somehow they pulled that game out of their and won. But Houston gave him all kinds of fits. That's how you get to Goff. Goff is a very methodical quarterback that makes smart choices. But the thing is when he gets flustered out of the pocket, he's a way different quarterback.
Yeah. So if you're Green Bay, are you running directly at Hutchinson to test him as well? I mean, he hasn't done anything since he was injured. He's not had that impact really thrown against him. Do you attack him?
I think you try it. I mean, it's game 1, right? I mean, you try it, you test them. I mean, that's, if in-game adjustments will be huge, because I think just because of the fact that there's so many unknowns with certain players and certain positioning. And this, like we've always said the last couple of years, first 3 weeks, it's almost like preseason football, because these guys really haven't played. This is live action. So this is the true test. But this game has a little more juice to it just because it's a division game, and you want to take these division games right off the bat. So
yeah, I love them playing division games week 1. I think it adds more of a value to the game. You know what I mean? It's not that seeing Kansas City plays Detroit or whatever isn't good football, but it's interdivision games are so much more. It's almost like a college rivalry to me. It almost feels like they're forcing that early in the season.
So just to bring up a quick point that you guys were talking about, it's basically like a was versus an is. So Hutchinson, of course, was injured, and he's actually been able to get himself back in the ship. And I think he's actually just about where he needs to be. Now you have the is factor. Micah Parsons, when you have an injury that's still kind of a lingering type of a situation, even with your epidural, even with your whatever else, they do to prepare. And it again, depending on how bad it really is, he could injure himself literally walking onto the field. And so it's kind of one of those things. And I kind of agree that if you go directly at him, you're going to see just where he's at. And in fact, you might even be able to actually get him out of that game a little bit more. Maybe we'll hold you up for the second half, because you keep pounding, you keep hitting. Right. He might actually end up, kind of retweaking that back a little bit. Next thing you know, he's going to be out for several weeks. So I think that's a very good point. And going after him instead of actually avoiding him. But with that being said, it's the Doors. He only gets 1 a year. That's it.
Right. Wasted in week 1. So we do have some other games going on
in the first game.
We do have other games going on. Shut your mouth, Andy. Mike, you got some NFC East games still to cover?
Oh yeah, just the one again, like we talked about, week 1, showing the playing in division games, which is I think we all agree is great. to bring more life to it. And you got the Giants playing Washington. I forgot to call Sean to get all my details, so I actually look smart. Spencer over there. But injury report wise, they're really nothing on either side. I mean, the offensive tackle for the Giants is doubtful to play. They do have people on IR, but there's nothing that this week showing that it's going to be, somebody's out the first week that we need to worry about. It's the Giants. It's the Giants.
It feels like this is a no-brainer.
So, I mean, does Dan Quinn always have his teams ready to go? They signed Scary Terry, so they don't have that issue in the back. Daniels in his second year. Let's see how well he does. It's second year. They got. I mean, I know the biggest offseason move. They traded their backup running back to some team out west. But it didn't seem like he was a big deal. So it's going to be an interesting game between those two.
It's hard to win a game that you're expected to win. Like Washington's got a team that's coming off a great season last year.
Yeah.
But that was last year. You got New York that's coming off one of their worst seasons ever last year. But again, that was last year. These are two totally different teams. You got some journeyman starter, possible Hall of Famer at quarterback in New York. And you got Jayden Daniels, who had a great season last year. You can't deny the fact that Jayden Daniels is a quarterback of the future for Washington. He looks like he's the real deal. He played exceptionally well through the stretch, and he didn't look like the bright lights were too big for him.
But sophomore slump, dude.
Thank you. And that's what I was getting at.
We were talking about the possible Hall of Fame quarterback in New York. You talking about Justin Fields?
Yeah, possible. No. So, Andy, I have ADHD. You can't do that to me. I had a train of thought, and they just threw me all over the place.
Well, do you remember, of course, back, this was, of course, a long time ago with, like, PBS and stuff like that. You would have those little, like, learning type of programs. So, repeat after me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
I just all right, Mike. We'll just he wants to talk about whatever, but I don't. I know the Giants but it's the Giants. I mean,
Week 1 is the best game to play upset.
Yeah, it is, but it's the Giants, dude.
There's
nothing. I don't see anything they've done in the offseason, in the draft, or anything else that's really going to be to help them win games. I mean, yeah, they got whatever that dude's name was that played quarterback for a while. He's on a downward slide.
Definitely.
They do have a great starting wide receiver but again, their defense is horrid. But yeah, this would be a great week to play upset, but I just think Washington comes out and I think it's going to be a good rivalry game, but I think Washington wins this by 10 points. So even with
Dumb and Dumber, you have comments on this one?
I don't know, man. I mean, isn't like the Giants defense actually halfway decent? I mean,
statistically, bad defense.
I mean, and then offensively, I feel like they've gotten a little bit better. I mean, yeah, you're starting Russell Wilson, but I mean, that's better than that Tommy DeVito kid that
Tommy Cutlets, baby.
He's not even there anymore.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I look at this game differently. I actually one of my best bets is taking the Giants +7. I think this game kind of blew out of proportion. I think it's going to be a lot closer game.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think this is the week. If you're going to upset a team like Washington, you got to catch them early. I think New York possibly can. If Russ can come out and be 70% of what he used to be, let him be the guy that plays within the offense, manages the game, and controls the ball, I think you have a chance. But
Okay.
all right. Well, we've covered all the games in the NFC North. We've covered all the games in the NFC East.
Damn.
It's time.
We left
It's
too much time.
finally time.
We left too much time on the clock.
Oh
We
my
left
God,
too
you
much
guys
time on the
blew it.
clock.
So let's start in the NFC South. We'll start with the Phoenix Cardinals of Arizona, or the Arizona Cardinals out of Phoenix, heading to Louisiana to play the New Orleans Saints. This game is one of those games where nobody cares. I mean, the four Cardinal fans and the one Saint fan, who cares? The Saints are a team that's not even recognizable right now. Their quarterback is Spencer Rattler. They have no defense. They're aged on the defensive side of the ball. The offensive side of the ball isn't great. You got AK-41, who has yet to rush for 1,000 yards in his career, going against Arizona, who has a quarterback and a couple pieces. But I honestly think Arizona goes into Louisiana. It goes into Louisiana, comes out with a big win. I don't see this falling any other way. Thoughts? Exactly.
Nope.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't like the New York game where they have pieces in place. New Orleans is, I feel like they're just a shell of what used to be a team.
Well, it's what happens when you're 90 million over the cap. They've got to shed everything. I'm surprised. I'm surprised they still haven't shed like the receiver and the running back yet. They need a complete full tear down reset. That's what they need.
I mean, it's looking like Gary, Indiana there right now. They need to just go and start tearing shit down. It's rough. Anyway, Cards win that one. Then we got two former Bucs coordinators squaring off against each other as the Carolina Panthers head into Jacksonville to face Duval. Who do you guys have win this one? I think this is pretty evenly matched, for being honest. I don't know too much about the Jags. They do have that one player that's going to play both sides of the ball. I don't think he's going to have much of an impact early in the season. Carolina, they're on the cusp every year, it feels like. It feels like they're just right there. They're right there, and then something happens, they just fall apart. I honestly told you I have Carolina finishing third in the division. I think they win this one, though. I think they come out of Jacksonville with the win, go into the NFC South rankings as number 2 in the league. What are you guys' thoughts on this game? Do you guys have any outlook on it? I really don't see much from either team this early. I think Jacksonville is still trying to develop. They put a lot of eggs in the Travis Hunter basket.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. I reading some stuff just because I'm looking for like more gambling tips and everything. I don't know. I read some stuff that, to be perfectly honest, Jacksonville's kind of a sleepy team to watch. And if they're playing in Jacksonville, I think that could be a factor. I mean, you're taking a team from Atlanta out of a dome.
Carolina?
Going into Carolina. Never mind, not Atlanta. I don't know what I was thinking there. No, you're taking Carolina to Jacksonville. Obviously, weather conditions can be similar, but I don't know. To me, so there's something about Jacksonville that I was reading. It's kind of like, I kind of like them in this game. Granted, it's only week 1, but I think they might shock some people. But I do agree with you, Carolina. Carolina is building something. I just don't know.
Like they always look like they're a piece here away, a piece there away, and then they get the piece that you thought they were away, and it's like same damn team. It's mind-boggling to me how they've been building. It's like the Bears. The Bears have been building since 1985. and they always look like they've made the right move or they've made a move that's going to improve things, and they're still the Bears from 1987. There's just no improvement since. It's just, anyway. On to the team that matters.
All right, that's the end of the show, people. Thanks for showing up.
Bucs head to Atlanta to face the Falcons. This game's going to be tight early. I don't know if it stays tight. I honestly think you're going to have a low-scoring game early. Bucs are riddled with injury right now. Godwin's out. Wirfs is out. Isian's out. Benjamin's out. Vea's questionable. That's huge. You're looking at key components of this offense. Not to mention the fact that we have our nickel, our safety, Christian Isian out, who's going to force people to play that haven't really played yet. So that's going to be a huge injury. The Christian Isian injury is a lot more than people will actually let on. Why do we even let Bean's comments on the screen? Who does that? Anyway, Falcons come in, losing their left tackle, losing their second left tackle. They're on their third string left tackle, or right tackle, sorry. Blind side of left-handed quarterback. Anyway, so they lose the right tackle on the third string right tackle, having to go against Hassan Reddick. One of my big keys for this game is Hassan Reddick has to have at least one sack today. The Bucs need to end the game with a minimum of 4. I think it's going to be a huge impact on the game is if you have an edge rush. Andy, what do you got? Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was going to say a thing. I'm sure they've had quite a few sacks.
Anyway.
I was waiting for this nightmare to get over with. I mean, the preview of the game. I think the Falcons are going to end up pulling it out, tell you the truth.
Go away. So my keys for a victory for Tampa Bay. Bucky Irving needs at least 100 yards total offense, a minimum of 60 on the ground. You're going to see quite a bit of Rachaad White, I believe. He's going to be your battery. He's going to be your guy for your short yardage. He's also good in pass pro. So you might see 60 to 80 from Bucky, 20 to 30 from Rachaad with some receiving yards in there. The Bucs do need to force Atlanta to run the ball. I think if they force it to be on Bijan Robinson's shoulders, they have a better chance this game. With a young quarterback, you do have a tight end that's going to be a viable option for him. I'm hoping the Bucs fix their lack of ability to cover the tight end because that's honestly what scares me. Fortunate for the Bucs, it's Kyle Pitts, who hasn't really done anything since he was drafted. And the last key for this game for me is the Bucs need to score early. They need to score first. You need to force Atlanta to play from behind. Whether it's by 7 or by 3, they need to keep that lead. I know that sounds stupid as God had the lead to win the game, but you got to keep the lead to force them to put the ball in the air and hopefully come away with some turnovers.
I think you should give the ball to Bucky Irving as much as possible. I think that's their only way to win today, and I think that's what they should do.
I think the offense for you, Mike, this is going to be real beneficial for you to hear. The offense is going to run through Bucky Irving for at least the first 3 weeks, maybe 4.
Good.
I think that's going to be huge. With Tristan Wirfs being out, you're going to see a lot of two tight end sets. You're going to see them using the extra tight end to help Charles Heck out, keep the quarterback upright. You got 2 new rookie edge rushers from Atlanta, so that's going to be key to keep Baker upright and keep the ground game rolling.
Yeah.
You guys got anything for me on this game?
Yeah, I think the Falcons pull it out, but unfortunately, because I think the Bucs injuries, it hurts them a little bit too much this one. But
this is a tough one to lose if you're Tampa. Yeah. Again, it's an interdivision game. You don't want to start the season behind the 8 ball there, but you got to win at home.
I think all year you guys are going to end up looking up at New Orleans. I think the Saints are going to surprise some people, and they're probably going to go at least 3-15.
I let that one play full just because you were talking so much.
Yeah, I'm talking so much. Wait till we get off the air.
Put down the
For you
weed.
I've got at least 3 or 4 choice words for you guys.
Right on.
All right. Well, I'm going to discuss that comment that you put up there that you just got all upset about a minute ago. Him making comments. You're not going to hear that. You're not going to hear that on this show because we don't. Say
What
that.
comments?
So you'll be Mark safe from hearing we them boys this week. Yeah, that one. You don't have to worry about that because that doesn't happen on this show.
I have never even seen that comment before.
Yeah. Okay. The sky. We hear the sky is falling a lot. That's what we hear.
Right on. So we're back to pick 6. You guys got your picks in? You guys ready for this segment, or we need to let Andy actually do them?
Told you, we're going to pick in Philadelphia.
We're going to let the full intro play, Andy, so you can get your picks in. All right.
Was there something there?
Stout, you're off to a pretty good start this week. We'll let you go first.
Yeah, I'm tired of getting lied to that video was going to get changed, and it's really starting to get annoying.
Okay, I'll change it for you there, big guy.
Yeah, I know.
I'll change it for you. I know the sky's still falling. Make sure those curtains are on the Jerry Dome, okay?
I send emails, nothing happens. It might go to spam. I don't know. My pick 6 of the week started off pretty good. But I got Washington winning at 6. I got the Steelers at 5. Fortunately, I picked the Chiefs at 4. At 3, I picked the Bucs to win because I went back and looked. Every time I pick the Bucs, they lose. So we're gonna be the Bucs all year long. And 2, I got the Minnesota Vikings winning. And again, a shout out to my buddy. This is a memorial for him to pick the Vikings every week. The first season opener, regardless of who they play. And 1, I had, unfortunately, the Dallas Cowboys. So started off strong at 0-2. So here's the 0-6.
You do have potential for 16. If you get 0-6, you got to buy everyone on the show a case of beer.
No. I'm going to be drinking it, so I don't know how you guys are going to get
it. Brian, welcome
Raging
back.
alcohol. It's fantastic.
Who you got?
All right, my pick 6. My number 6 was the Eagles, and that came through. So that's good. That's a good start. 5, I am taking the gamble. I'm going Green Bay. Number 4, San Francisco 49ers. I think they'll win regardless. Number 3, I got the Bengals, Cincinnati Bengals. Number 2, and that's just what I think of them. Number 2, Tampa Bay.
That's because they're the shit.
Yeah. or they are shit. And then number 1, once again, we just discussed this game. I am taking the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Ugh. All right. So I too took Philly, but I took them at 4. So I got Cincy at 6, Denver at 5, Philly at 4, Tampa Bay at 3, San Francisco at 2, Washington Commanders at 1. We had some other entries. I will put them up on the page later on in the week. We'll get totals going. This year, we're going to keep a running total and try to get actual scores updated weekly so we'll know who's actually in the lead and who's not, instead of just seeing this every year. Makes it for everybody. Brian, You had
Yes,
mentioned
sir.
you had some bets going on. You have any bets for us today?
Oh, I do. I've got a slew of them.
All right, here we go.
All right. As I said before, Giants plus the 7. I think it's going to be a lot closer of a game than everybody thinks. I'm actually taking the Raiders plus 3.5. I think it's an interesting little matchup right at the beginning of the year for the Raiders and I believe the Patriots, right? I'm going to take 49ers money line. Obviously, it was in my pick 6. Packers money line, I'm taking. Rams money line, I'm taking. And I'm also going to go Broncos money line. And unfortunately, I'm doing it even though I hate Karen Rodgers, Steelers money line.
Wow. Andy, you have them ready now?
They've been ready.
Oh, we weren't sure, so we wanted to give you a little extra time. Give us your
Well,
picks.
see, I was going to tell you. Now you can. No, I actually had Philadelphia at 6. I had the Chiefs at 6. Now we have. I think I actually mentioned the fact that we had the Bears at number 3. I'm going to go ahead and put them as my lock pick, only because I have that much confidence that they're going to beat the living snot out of Green Bay today by at least a touchdown.
They're playing.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Boy,
You
he is
actually
smoking
have-
some stuff, man. Jesus.
I don't smoke it.
But they don't play Green Bay.
Yeah.
So-
yeah.
We have. I'm going to go with the Falcons over the Buccaneers.
Wow.
I'm going with the Falcons over the Buccaneers. I'm going with the Bengals over the Browns. Let's see. I think the Lions are going to end up beating the Packers. That's what you guys are talking about. I'm trying to read my thing over here. You guys got me all flustered and pissed off. So we got the Lions over the Packers. I'm actually going to go. I'm going to go with the Seahawks over the 49ers. And anybody over Dallas.
Oh God.
We'll give you that.
I got the Panthers over the Jaguars. By the way, number 1.
I think there's going to be a video next week of something.
You know what? I every week
I think it's already been made. Actually,
I worry about my picks every week, and I keep forgetting. There's Andy. I always forget about Andy will one up me with the pick.
He was so mad he thought I forgot him. He threw his hands up as soon as I went to the Brian's bets. But I mean, it's fun for me.
We know that you have the most fun with yourself.
We're at the end of the show, guys. You got any closing thoughts?
Oh yeah.
I got a closing thought. CeeDee, I want to hear no complaint about the curtains ever again. You got 4 passes. No curtain talk from you ever again. Then just leave it to the professionals. Let's go.
Brian, anything?
Yeah, I will say this right here, right now. I am pumped now that we've got a full slate of games today. I mean, I know we got the taster on Thursday and Friday, but this is what we live for. Sundays, sitting on the couch and watching some ball, man. I'm stoked. I'm excited. Let's have a good year.
Right on. Andy.
Absolutely.
Great. As always, like to thank our wives, girlfriends, whoever you have. Thank you for letting
and Andy's crack dealer.
Thanks for letting us come out and be morons for an hour every Sunday. We'll see you all next week.